完璧などありえない。この世界は不完全。だから美しい。もう
バカ。
何？
俺は海賊王になる。なんて美味しさなの。
力を渡した時に言ったことを覚えているかい？くれ。違う、そこじゃない。
変態。遅い。
Hello and welcome to More Than Hentai, a podcast that is here to show that anime is far more than just tentacles and catgirls. There's also stories of love, loss, laughs, hope, horror, and happiness that are just dying to be found. And I, Brendan White, the Salt and Pepper Senpai, am here to help you find them. More Than Hentai is proudly powered by our friends over at Audio Technica and Dash Water. So please go upgrade your audio and hydration games today, preferably after you finish listening to this absolute banger of an episode we got coming your way. And joining me in the studio today is a man who, when not teaching people about the magic that is Magic the Gathering, can be seen co-hosting the Cozy Magic Club, dominating the mid lane in League of Legends, attempting to catch/collect them all in Pokemon TCG, being the ultimate dog dad to Axel, and generally fanboying about all things esports and Formula One. Did I mention he also has fantastic taste when it comes to anime, citing Naruto, The Law of Awaki, Death Note, Mash Slay, Magic and Muscles, Gatekeepers, Food Wars, and Spy Family as some of his favorites. You can find him on them socials at Nigel Victus, which is NIGELVICTUS. Nigel, you bloody legend, welcome to the studio. How might you be doing?
I feel like you've done some research, man. Like you hit all the, you said everything about me. I don't have to introduce myself anymore. I am doing so good. I'm so excited to talk some anime. Very excited.
You and me both, man. I'm been ecstatic not only to have you on the podcast show floor with me here, but also to talk about a fantastic title that I hold very near and dear to my heart, but also just get a little bit more of the Nigel story. Like, yeah, I know I sort of did hit the main story beats there, or the main sort of cleft notes that you may or may not be known for out in sort of the various communities that we sort of cross-pollinate together.
Yep.
But maybe we'll start with that. We'll talk about sort of you as a person, some of those fandoms, shift the discussion into your sort of how you discovered and sort of anime, backstory. And then we'll sort of shift focus into, I guess, what we're here for. So, man, yeah, tell us about yourself. Like, obviously, the main thing that a lot of people might be knowing you for these days is co-hosting the fantastic Cozy Magic Club podcast, which I adore. The vibe is very, very cozy and welcoming, and just the energy that you guys bring to those episodes each and every time. It's very endearing and heartfelt, and I'm here for it.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point, right? And if you say that that's what you feel, that's exactly what we want, right? It's all about community. It's all about magic is for everyone. You know, it used to be sort of a nerdy boys club, but now everyone plays it, right? Joe Manganiello plays Magic. Anyone can play Magic, and that's why last year Ruby and I and our friend Casa said, let's do a podcast. They're obviously a part of the Cozy Magic Club, and they do a bunch of great stuff as well, which I love to help work with them on. But the podcast is something that I thought anyone can do a podcast. I mean, you know, I'm sure you sort of know it's just about putting your foot down and getting it out there and just making it a platform to, like I said, Magic's for everyone. And I'm glad we're able to share that fun and that community vibe with everyone.
I think that's a perfect way to describe not only Magic, but just our fandoms in general. Like, it is something
great,
for everyone. It should be welcoming. It should be embracing the various people from all walks of life. There isn't just a fandom that is for male or female or non-binary. Like, I feel these fandoms need to be embraced and need to be sort of presented with open arms to everybody. And I think that's what y'all do with Cozy Magic Club. Like, we were talking offline, like, Magic is something that I've sort of skirted around the periphery on for quite a while, and sort of seeing content from people like yourself out there that just makes it look so fun and entertaining and wholesome and cute and silly and scary and stressful in all the right ways just makes me go, holy shit, I need to get a deck and I need to jump into this world because I've got the FOMO, man. I got the FOMO bad.
Then we're doing something right again. I think the way that Magic is also played nowadays, I think it's very social, right? Because there's a format called Commander, which I'm sure you've heard of or you've seen content around. And it's a 1v1v1v1. It's a 4-player free-for-all. So there's a lot of not backstab. There's a lot of deal making. There's a lot of talking. So like, Brendan, if you don't attack me, I'll get rid of their permanent. And the social aspect is what we're here for, right? And I like what you said about fandoms not gatekeeping, right? We don't want to gatekeep anything, and there's so much intersectionality between fandoms as well. Just because you like League of Legends doesn't mean you don't like anime. And just because you like anime doesn't mean you won't like Magic the Gathering, for example. So having so much of that crossover, I think, is very important as well.
I think so, man. And like you said, just keeping a nice, welcoming, positive mindset and mentality for that. Like, just because you might know more about Magic and I might know more about topic XY, it doesn't mean that we can't have a good conversation or share these fandoms. Like, and that goes from me that might not know little. Like, it's exciting, and I'm looking forward to sort of diving deeper and, you know, picking your brain and picking other people's brains to try and, you know, build up the confidence and then finally jump into a Commander game and see if I can do you all proud.
Sooner rather than later, we hope. There's a lot of interesting universes beyond, which is a lot of cross IPs that come into Magic the Gathering nowadays. So Final Fantasy is coming out this year. There's a Marvel Spider-Man coming out this year. We've already had like Lord of the Rings, Doctor Who, Fallout. And one of the ones that I'm looking forward to very much is Avatar: The Last Airbender coming out end of this year. It's dangerous. It's so dangerous.
It is dangerous, but like they throw the term cardboard crack around, and it is very, very much that way. And like it's a healthy drug. It's a healthy addiction compared to some of the other stuff you could be getting involved in. So yeah, 100%. I'm excited to ride this high with all these new collabs and sort of collections rolling out throughout this year and into the years ahead, because man, I need it bad. My minor spoilers, but I'm planning on building an anime waifu deck as my goal, and I'm going to try and, you know, lead that group of girlies to the promised land. So I'm looking forward to embarking on that journey in the coming months.
And the whole point about Commander as well is it's a way to express yourself, right? Back in the day, the only way to really play Magic was 1v1, so competitive tournament style, and there is no real form of expression in that way, right? It's either you play the best deck, or you play a deck that preys on the best deck. Now, like you said, you want to build a waifu deck. Someone can build a husbando deck. Someone's got a cat deck. Someone's got an angel deck. Someone has a deck. Ruby's talking about a deck where everyone's wearing a hat in the art. No hat, no hat, no play.
I love that.
So it's all about self-expression, and I'm so glad that there's a way to do that now.
Oh, yeah. There is something for everybody in Magic, just like there is something for everybody in anime. So I wanted to circle back here because I rattled off some of your personal favorites, and we'll jump into some of those specifically in a second. But I wanted to hear about your origin story when it comes to anime. How did you discover this medium? What were sort of your first impressions? And then I guess we can sort of work through that timeline and sort of bring it up to now and talk through some of those favorites.
Yep. So I'm from Malaysia. So I've been in Australia maybe 13 years.
Hey.
But back in Malaysia, we had AXN, which was a sort of channel that showed Animax every now and then. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Animax. So they would play like a curated couple of animes, and we would catch them every now on the telly. And the one that got me really, really started was, I think, Ranma Half. That was an old school one, and I was so intrigued at the concept of a cartoon where A, they weren't speaking English, and B, it was like a bit of a strange sort of episodic format. And then I just sort of went in that deep dive, and then my cousin introduced me to Naruto, and he had them in CDs because he would burn 2 episodes into a CD back in the day, and he gave me a whole, and like that's how I got started down the whole rabbit hole.
So good, so good. Yeah, I love all our different sort of origin stories. Like a lot of the Australian-based guests I've had on, we've sort of got similar beats where we've discovered it through Cheese TV as a kid, where we'd watch it on school, like before school started during sort of the weekdays, or sometimes you'd see things late at night on SBS. But yeah, I love that you've sort of come at it from a different direction. Ranma 1/2 is so good. I don't know if you've watched the reboot they've done recently.
There's a reboot?
It came out at the back end of last year. It's on Netflix. It is so good. Add it to your watch list ASAP because the animation's done by Mappa, obviously one of the biggest studios in the land these days. And it feels so nostalgic, but also so fresh. Like it's got a lot of that 80s, 90s sort of vibe and aesthetic to it still, but it still does feel like it's been modernized a little bit.
Okay.
But seeing all the characters, like, you see Ranma running around. We get introduced to Shampoo at the back end of the series in season 1. Season 2's been confirmed already. Like, it is so good, man. It's such a fun story.
It is such a novel concept as well, right? Like Yeah, that's all I can say. I mean, if you're listening and you haven't watched Rama half for some reason, just get on that. And there's a new one on Netflix. There you go.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I can't remember if it's 12 or 13 episodes the first season, but like it's a really fun roller coaster ride. There's good comedy, some good martial arts, a bit of love and romance and what have you, and some interesting twists and turns. Like I don't want to sort of spoil the story if anyone hasn't heard of Ranma and knows what actually happens to this character when they get wet with hot or cold water. But it's such a fun watch. Some of the other ones, like Mashley, is one of the biggest sort of new IP doing the rounds at the moment. And again, like on that sort of same sort of thought process of just fun zaniness, not many do it better than Mashley at the moment.
Can I tell you how I got introduced to Mashley as well? We were my wife and I were on our honeymoon in Japan, and we just put on like an anime channel, and because it's Japan, there are no English subtitles, so like that's fine, we'll just watch a bunch of different anime. And this anime came on, and it was so ridiculous. There was an episode where there was a character changing people into babies, and the actual audio from that was babies, and we were just laughing, and we had to look it up, and as soon as we could, I just binged it, and it was just the silliest, but it was just silly and interesting and fun, and yeah.
It's so different, and I love its take on sort of the whole magic university spin. Like, obviously, it's sort of anime version of Harry Potter that's just more zany and hysterical, except the lead Mashley, he's got no magical abilities. Like, minor spoilers there, but he tries to exist in this world, yet he's one of the few that has no magic. So he's the outcast, but he's just like super strong, super fit. So he uses his strength and speed to almost do magical things all the time. And it's such a great concept. It's so dumb, but it is so good.
The way he flies on the broom is just helicopter kicking. I mean,
that, and then like his love for cream puffs. Like every time I watch it, I just sort of get hungry and salivate for a nice tasty pastry because they always look so good. Like anime food looks so good. And this next one I wanted to mention, you're definitely a man after my heart. When you name drop Food Wars as one of your favorites,
no Soma. I mean,
it's an all-timer for me. Like, it can be divisive. The fan service and the lewdness of it is not for everybody. But
it's
again,
not for everybody.
Comedically, it is amazing, and the food has never looked better.
No, so I started Shokugeki no Soma or Food Wars during COVID. And I was stuck at home. My wife's a nurse midwife, so she would go and work, and I would watch these episodes, and I'm like, I'm going to try and make some. So I made the sholapan steak from the first episode. Yes. I think that's what it's called. I made mapo tofu, and I made a bunch of other stuff. And because it looks so good, exactly like you said, but B, they're so methodical, and it makes it look so interesting. And you're like, you know what? If he can do it, I can do it too.
I bought the Food Wars cookbook. I've got it downstairs. Yeah, I've got it downstairs in the kitchen.
That's awesome.
I've made one or two of the dishes, but I actually need to probably dust it off and go again because, like you said, the food looks good. And I like, even though it does lean into the pervy, lewd craziness in Food Wars, like it knows exactly some of its target audience and it leans and gets right to the periphery there. But when it comes to like the traditional and respective sort of kitchen and food culture, it does that so well as well. Like you watch the preparation and the knife work and the hand work and the cook times and talking about how these ingredients react and the scientificness of it all.
Yeah.
Like you can really learn a lot in amongst the food gasms and the zaniness, that's for sure.
100%. I mean, like I learned what a mezzaluna was from Food Wars, and like specific, the characters who have specific in like meat or Chinese cuisine or Japanese cuisine or Korean cuisine, and you learn so much. You learn so much.
You really do. I adore it. I regularly sort of go back and rewatch because it's just
nice.
It's fun. Speaking of sort of the meat cuisine, like Ikumi Mito, the meat general, she's one of my favorite characters. She's just a great little character. But the entire cast, whether it be like main or sort of ensemble and background, like they're all so unique and distinctive and have their own sort of vibe and flavor, partial pun intended. But it is just a really, really enjoyable story. And like, if anyone is on the fence about it, but has loved stuff like it's Iron Chef the anime, really, with a little bit of lewdness sprinkled on top.
Yeah,
it's so good, man. So good.
It is, and again, pardon the pun, it's very digestible, right? Like it's not 500 episodes long. I think each season's like 20 something. There are like 4 or 5 seasons.
Yep, 5 seasons.
5 seasons, and you just smash them all out a season a week, really. And again, you learn so much. It's good fun. I encourage anyone that likes food and likes anime. I'm not sure why you haven't watched this one already. I don't know why I'm advertising to you.
Yeah, it is in my top 10 of all time. I love it that much. Like, I'm such a big fan, and the animation quality is consistent from first episode right through to the tail end, when we sort of get the nice sort of bow and ribbon tied up on this story and these main characters. But it's a damn good time. All right, so if we're going to sort of flash forward to now, like, is there a couple of anime that you're watching? Like, obviously Mash Lays are more of a recent entry as well, but is there a couple that are in your rotation at the moment that you're consuming from the last couple of seasons?
Delicious in the Dungeon, another food one. I don't know what it comes back to all the food ones, but it's just something that everyone can sort of relate to, right? Whether it's real world dishes or whether you're cooking up, monsters in a dungeon. That's another fun but deep as well, sort of anime that I'm watching as well.
Hell yeah. So good. Yeah, it's again on Netflix. Season 2's on the way. I always forget if the first season ran for 23 or 25. It was a weird number. 20. It wasn't the usual 24, I think. It was sort of one either side of that. But again, fantastic storytelling. Again, done by MAPPA. We're singing their praises today in a big way. But it's really wholesome. But it does have a lot of heart as well. And I think that's just the greatness that is this vessel called anime, where you can get zany, crazy, fantastical things, or a show about cooking, and then you sprinkle all this heart and emotion over the top of it, and it just sort of elevates this anime sort of shaped dish even further. So
it's not so one-dimensional anymore, right? Like there are some animes which are, and there's a time and place for that, but there's also more complex and more deeper emotions when it comes to the characters being written or the story arc. So 100%, it's there's something for everyone, exactly like you said.
Oh yeah, just like magic. On the topic, I've got one quick magic question before we maybe pivot into the sort of the guts of this episode. I want to know, like, do you have a rough idea of how many games of Magic you might have played in your lifetime? Have you sat down and like crunched the numbers? I'd be genuinely curious if it's going to be like One Piece levels of like, tipping 1,200 games / episodes. Like, how many do you think you played?
So there are a lot of different formats of Magic, right? There's like 1v1 formats and there's commander formats. And in the 1v1 formats, there's also limited or constructed. So constructed is when you bring your deck, and limited is like when you either go for a pre-release event and they give you packs and you make packs out of them, or you go for a draft or something like that. But if I just wanted to get like a round number of all the games I've played, I would say it's in the mid hundreds, maybe like 500 to 700, if I had to make a quick guess off my head.
That's impressive in itself. Like, I love that commitment, and it shows that you are certainly one of the stalwarts of the Magic space. Like, that is, and I love too that obviously every game can be different. Like, it's not that you're just doing the same thing over and over. Like, yes, you're playing cards at its sort of core there, but like the dynamic of as far as the people you're playing against, the decks they're bringing, the new cards that have been brought out, and it's just so interesting, exciting for me because it is a dice roll every game just about, and I like that randomness and unpredictability of it. There is
also a lot of times where, because there are different reasons for me to play, so a lot of the times now I will be at Supernova or Comic-Con actually teaching Magic to people, so that is like a game in a sense, but I'm teaching someone. Conversely, or sort of inversely to that, I'm also used to be a part of groups where they would be, hey Nigel, can you sit and join this pod? And when we say pod, we mean a group of 4 people playing Commander, just because we know that you are actually happy to assist or happy to teach and like patient to when people are learning, because not to like, how do I say this, some Magic players just want to play the game, and that's fine. Not everyone is meant to be a teacher or has what it takes to be a teacher, but it's kind of nice to be recognized to that people will be like, yes, you can teach in a sort of good way.
I wish I had you at the table, because I've played one game in my life, and I had a little bit of assistance intermittently through the game, but like 2 of the other players that I was playing with just steamrolled, and I'm just like, I'm enjoying it and I like the challenge, but I'm also like, let me take stock of what the hell's going on here. I don't know what half these things mean, and they're just going whack, 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 and beating my little head up. So
was it a commander game?
Yeah, it was a commander game.
Okay, that's the worst way to learn Magic.
Yeah,
absolute worst. The best way is just to play 1v1, the same like decks again and again, so you can get the concepts, and then that you take that to commander. But I understand that commander is a very popular way to learn, just because everyone's playing commander. So.
Yeah, but I will be back with my waifu deck. You have my word, and we're going to have a good old time.
Nice.
But listeners, viewers, Segoy Squad, if you are stopping by for the first time or are regular here, thank you either way. The way More Than Hentai works is we're going to be doing a singular deep dive on the first episode of one particular anime in question, talking through story, character, plot points, animation, music, soundtrack, etc., and working out, is this an anime that's worth watching? Are we going to stick with it? Is this something we should drop? We're just trying to work out, the fact and the fiction as far as you want to cop it or you want to drop it, really. So we're going to be unpacking the first episode of this anime in question. We can go full spoiler, so nothing is off limits for episode 1.
Awesome.
We aren't going to sort of persist beyond that. Like, I don't know if Nigel has watched beyond episode 1. He was more than welcome to. Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
We won't be sort of unpacking those sort of beats from episode 2. We're just sort of trying to give new fans or new potential fans to a particular anime some good high-level overviews, give them a bit of a snapshot as far as the themes, the beats and stuff, and work out if this is going to be an anime for them, or maybe if it's something they avoid, or sort of maybe recommended to somebody else they know could be more of a fan of this title. But what do you think, man? Are you ready to sort of jump into More Than Hentai in an official capacity?
Let's do it. More Than Hentai. Here we go.
Ooh, yeah. All right. So our title in this week's episode of More Than Hentai is the mystery drama hit known as the Apothecary Diaries, which is a 2011 Japanese light novel series written by Natsu Hyuga and illustrated by Tuko Shino, which has gone on to sell over 38 million copies worldwide. An anime adaptation written and directed by Nohiro Naganuma, animated by Toho and OLM, the studio behind such titles as Berserk. We're talking 1997 Berserk. Also, they were behind titles such as Odd Taxi, Summertime Rendering, Pokemon, and Komi Can't Communicate. And said anime adaptation debuted in October of 2023 and ran for 24 episodes. January 2025 saw the debut of a second season, which at time of recording is still ongoing on Crunchyroll. The Apothecary Diaries can also be found on Netflix, depending your region, and currently holds a score of 8.87 out of 10 on my anime list, based on just under 330,000 unique user reviews, making it the 25th highest rated anime on the platform of all time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, big praise here.
Dang.
Big praise. And the story of the Apothecary Diaries is as follows. Mao Mao, the daughter of an apothecary, is sold into the imperial court as a maid and hides her knowledge of medicine to avoid attention. When the emperor's children fall mysteriously ill, Mao Mao secretly solves the case, but is discovered by the sharp-eyed eunuch Jinchi. Recognizing her skills, she's promoted to lady-in-waiting for the emperor's favored concubine, where her expertise becomes crucial to the court. So, Nigel, I think we might sort of take a backward step in a way and sort of talk about the initial hook and expectations, work out your mindset before we started watching it, because obviously we did a bit of back and forth. I sort of was asking of some anime that you might be interested in watching. You did a fantastic Q&A response for me so I could get an understanding of sort of your viewing habits, things you like and things you don't like. You've mentioned to me that you'd have heard of the Apothecary Diaries before we ultimately landed on this title, but what did you know of this anime or think of this anime before, I guess, watching it? Like, what was your feels?
Genuinely, I had no idea what it was sort of going into it. I do know that both you and Courtney obviously rated it quite highly. So I was like, okay. That's basically it. And I sort of could tell from the pictures that I've seen that it was sort of like it's based on like ancient Chinese, right? Like all the names like Mao Mao, Xinqi, and things like that. That's it. That's all I knew.
Okay.
So even the intro that you gave before, I had no context of, and I wanted to go in straight blind.
I love that. I loved it, like, because this anime and this story is full of mystery and intrigue, and you yourself came into this with a lot of intrigue and mystery and sort of uncertainty as to what this world was going to bring us. Because like seeing the trailer, seeing the key art and stuff, Like, yeah, Malma, she's a beautiful girl. Jinshi's also a very handsome man. I do like that we've got the sort of this period piece, sort of feudal China vibe.
Yeah.
Because, obviously with anime, we get a lot of sort of Japanese focus. So it's nice to see that we get a different area of the East to focus on. And yeah, I was really intrigued and interested by this one. I hadn't read the light novel when the anime was announced, and I've sort of caught up with the light novel now, and I'm well past where the story goes in the anime.
So you own the light novel, like you actually went in and bought it.
I'm in. Like,
yeah,
this story and this anime especially like grabbed me that much. I'm like, I need to read more of this, because the way my brain works, Nigel, like if I know that more of it is out there, even though the anime is only, a season and a half way through now, if I know there's more story beyond that, I'm like, to hell with this. I'm going to get it. I need all the information. I need it now.
So Solo Leveling, you're done. You've read it all then.
I have read all of Solo Leveling. I have read all of, I'm up to date with Solo Leveling Ragnarok, the new offshoot that's sort of come out last year as well. So yeah, anything that's ongoing that's also existing in an anime form,
consume.
Yeah, there's a very high chance, like stuff like Chainsaw Man's ongoing, Jujutsu Kaisen, stuff like that. My brain, for better or for worse, just needs it all and needs it now. So if there's a will, there's a way with me.
The FOMO, you can't not know.
yeah, and that's what's surprising me about why I'm still so frozen, like on the magic stuff, because I just want to jump in and get it all. But I think because it's a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more calculated, I need some more gray matter to, because I don't want to go in and just be a failure right off the rip. And I know no one can be the best straight away, but there's a bit of Ash Ketchum in me where I'm like, I want to be that very best, and I want to get this deck built. Then I just want to come out and wow people with all my waifus.
I can understand that. I think you want to give it the best go that you can, basically.
Yeah. All right. So let's sort of shift gears. We're going to start talking about sort of the story and the world building, work out, break down how the narrative was set up and how well it introduces us to this world. Like, obviously, it's hard to get a full-fledged story and full-fledged intro in 20-something minutes in a first episode. So that is always the risk when we're doing these sort of singular episode deep dives. But I wanted to know, like, how did you feel? Like, was the world set up in an engaging way? Like, did it sort of hook you? Were you immersed?
So personally, I thought that the first part of the episode was a bit abrupt, because it's the part where she gets kidnapped in Seoul, right? I thought that 5 minutes was just really, really quick, and then we go straight into her life in the rear court? What is it called?
Yeah, in the rear palace.
But I thought the second and the third part of that episode was like brilliantly done. I just thought the first part was a bit abrupt,
and it was almost like blink and you missed it. Like, as far as the kidnapping goes, like she's just out, like, collecting herbs. Then it's like, oh, she's kidnapped and sold off. And you're like, oh.
It's so insane, because her father in the first part's like, abductions are happening lately, just be careful. And she's like, I'm fine. And then she gets abducted. It's just a little on the nose.
Yeah, it was a little bit, but I did enjoy. This episode does a really good job slowly immersing us into the Imperial Court setting without really overwhelming us, I feel. It was very rich, very alive, and very lived in. Like, I like seeing the busy city streets that were filled with patrons and merchants and courtesans and all the ladies of the night that we sort of skirt in and around in this first episode. We see sort of servants interacting with each other in the court, and also the hierarchy and how the palace itself was structured. So I think it did good from a high level as far as here's the world, here's how beautiful this world is as well. Like, it is gorgeously animated, and I liked in those scenes, it did feel very alive to me.
It did. And then, without spoiling the second episode, it does the first episode does a really good, exactly like you say, it sort of sets up the world without going into too much detail, because I think that would be way too much in the second episode. And further, I'm assuming that they'll build on that. But it is such a gorgeous world, isn't it? Like, everything is just really interesting to look at. And again, having a bit of background, watching things like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and all the sort of imperial style Chinese works. There's a lot of familiarity in the clothing and the architecture and everything. And I found that quite comforting too.
Yeah, me too. You wouldn't even believe it, but I'm actually of Chinese descent. My great-great-grandfather came over from Shanghai in 1901. Yeah, true story.
Oh, shoot. That's crazy. So you're like 1/16th?
1/16th, yeah. I always thought my dad was lying to me as a child, because, you know, dads and parents often waffle on.
Yeah.
But I did a DNA testing and it came up and I'm like, okay, he was telling the truth on this one.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's actually crazy. All right, cool.
Yeah. So shout out to the Arlek bloodline from Shanghai way back in the day.
Are you Shanghainese?
Yes.
My mom's dad is Shanghainese too.
Really?
Yeah, no cap.
There you go. I knew there was a reason why I liked it so much.
I think so.
Yeah. So I feel this first episode, like, I don't feel it was an info dump. It was more smoothly integrated. Like, it wasn't heavy on exposition. I like that they were smartly sort of more showing us than telling us, like seeing Mao Mao's knowledge coming through via her actions instead of big clunky dialogue. And I liked as well, at the end of the episode, we actually get a narrator to sort of wrap up the episode, give us some additional context and backstories. So I thought that was a nice touch. Like, I feel it was smoothly integrated as far as the storytelling goes in this first episode.
That surprised me a little, actually, that the narrator came in, because it didn't start from the start. And you normally either have it in the start, come in halfway and end it. But then the narrator just creeps in the end and you're like, oh, okay, sure.
And the narrator, like, minor spoilers, but that's not like a constant through the seasons. Like, that isn't like an every episode, like last week on the Apothecary Diaries. Yeah, like, this was just used. It's used very, very sparingly. I think I can only remember it maybe 2 or 3 more times in the entire season so far.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder why they do it like that.
Yeah, I guess because there was a lot of lore they were trying to give us, and anytime you're talking about royalty and whatnot, like, it could get pretty dense and overwhelming.
It is, especially in the part, like the old Chinese system. Like, it's a lot. And if you didn't know about concubines and like eunuchs and all of that, that's how you learn, I suppose, or part of it.
On topic but off topic, but imagine being a eunuch. Imagine if that was your life, where they just take your bits and do with them as they please, and that is your life now. Like,
the Eunuch Diaries.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting watch. We get a spin-off. So did you feel this episode like the hook was strong enough to sort of pull you in?
So that whole part about, I obviously know what's wrong with the babies. Like, if only I had, a bit of paper, if I had pen to write, that sort of really did the whole like, oh, what's happening here? And then I watched the second episode, so I mean, it had to be good.
I love that, and yeah, it's certainly, like, I rewatched it again today, and it left me wanting more again. Like, I love this first episode hook; it was really strong for me. I love mystery, and we get it like immediately in this first episode.
Yeah.
Like, the sick royal children of Lady Gyokyo and Lady Li Hua are sort of working out that these next potential, kings in waiting, or royal children in waiting, potentially on their little deathbeds, and you go, man, like, the stakes are pretty high here. And also then seeing just Mao Mao's just casual genius sort of at play throughout this episode, and we'll sort of talk about some of that in future pieces in a second here. But yeah, the hook really got me. I enjoyed as well that it was very clear with the stakes, where there's, we're finding out straight away, lives are on the line here with this poisoning plot line. And also we get some additional stakes here where Mao is sort of having a little bit of an inner monologue through this episode, where she's like, you know what, in 2 years' time, I'm going to have my freedom. Yeah. So we've sort of got this like subtle looming tension, not only with her freedom, won't she be released, but also like, who is poisoning the royal family here?
Yeah, I mean, like, at sort of first glance, you're like, oh, there's, is one concubine poisoning the others, right? And then you sort of learn it's not. And there is, like you said, that tension that sort of goes on. And then as the episode ends, you're like, interesting. There is that sort of want to know a bit more. And then you look down, it's like 27 episodes. Like, okay, I could do this.
Yeah, and it is a good slow burn, man. Like, I'm going to avoid spoiling anything, but like,
I've watched episode 2 and that's it.
It's such an enjoyable story. And I feel like this first episode, like, if we're going to say plot or not, it's definitely plot. Like, we get some good mystery elements, also seeing all these sort of deep political vibes that are going around as well. Like, I'm loving the court politics and, the power struggle we see very fleetingly in this first episode.
Yeah, but it's also fairly light at the same time. I think the way that it balances it is quite well done, because like you say, it is quite deep. There is a lot of drama, there's a lot of tension, but there's also a lot of light moments that don't sort of, it's not jarring when it sort of jumps between that. Yeah.
I feel that the pacing and the direction is certainly a lot to play with that, because it is dire, and we've got, kids dying and talking about the concubine life and eunuchs and whatnot, like heavy tones. And then we're seeing more cute, whimsical, funny stuff with the kids, or seeing Mao Mao and how excited she gets with herbs and some of the other things she gets up to. Like, I do like the tonal shift, but it's not jarring. It sort of balances really, really well.
It does. It's almost baffling how, now that I think about it, because when I watched it, I'm like, this was great. And I didn't think, oh, that was a bit, you know when there's a scene sort of dips to another scene, you're like, oh, that was kind of strange. It didn't really happen for me.
Yeah, I didn't get any whiplash from this. It was just, it was paced well. It knew when to be funny, it knew when to be serious, and knew when to sort of gravitate somewhere in the middle. And I really, really enjoyed that. So, all right, so let's shift into characters and chemistry. We're just sort of gauging the strength of the cast early on. Like, obviously it's hard to paint a full picture of these characters after 20 odd minutes, or I guess 40 odd now that you've checked episode 2. But who stands out for you and why?
I think obviously Mamo is like the protagonist of the thing. Like, it's obviously sort of meant to be about her. She's smart. She's really, really funny. And I think from the picture card, it's Mao, what's his name? Jinchi. Yeah. Jinchi. So there's a lot about their relationship going forward, isn't it? Because I think I can't remember whether it ends in the first episode, but does she get picked in the first episode?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's also like his doing, and she's not really swayed by Jinchi's like beautiful looks, right? In the first episode, Jinchi's like, oh look, he's a eunuch, but he's also beautiful. And then when Mama's called with all the other girls to come see him in the first part, he holds up a piece of parchment and says, "You with the freckles, you stay back." And all the other girls who are illiterate and can't read, they're like, "Oh, they're fawning." So I sense there's going to be a lot of that play going on.
They've got such a good dynamic, and like Mao Mao for me, she's obviously the MVP. Like, I really enjoy her deadpan wit and her intelligence, and I feel it's very refreshing, and I appreciate that we've got a lead here who is much more than just eye candy or fan service. Like, we see a lot of female characters in anime. Yeah. You know, they can be smart and funny and intelligent, but a lot of the time, you know, they've got a bus that's, you know, nearly sort of hitting the road over the other side of the street and what have you and whatnot. Yeah,
specifically Mamo says in the episode, right? Like, I can't be a concubine because I have like flat-chested freckles. Like, who's going to look at me? And I found that was a great line because in the beginning you see that she goes to like a not a harem, what's the word, like a brothel or something, and she's there with all these beautiful prostitutes, and then you go again to the palace, and the concubines are all beautiful, like elegant, slim ladies, and then like you say, Mamo's not your typical anime protagonist. I mean, that's brilliant. Yeah,
I think it's a really great contrast. Like Mao Mao, she's a gorgeous girl, and I feel like she's still very pretty, but yeah, she isn't the stereotype from this era that's sort of seen as beautiful as far as tall and buxom and whatnot, where she's short, flat-chested, freckles. Love freckles. I have many of them myself. Yeah. So shout out to Mao Mao. So I like that we have this contrast. And then also with Mao Mao, I thought she really added a little bit of hero points and brownie points to me, where you find out early in the episode that she's regularly experimenting on herself with medicines and like self-wounding herself to try and find cures for things for people that are, dealing with illnesses and various ailments around this area. Yeah. So it shows just how clever and curious she is. So I like that she's clever and curious and quick-witted. She's giving off like major female house MD vibes without sort of the debilitating sort of bad leg and cane and probably snarkiness. But I like that we've got this sort of medical offshoot and interest for her.
Yeah, I mean, again, like exactly like you said, when she unwraps it the first time, it's, she's wounded, and you find out it's not because of an injury, it's because she's been experimenting on herself. So she has that quizzical mind, she's got that interesting nature, and I'm genuinely curious to see what she does in future episodes.
Hell yeah. And quickly touching on Jinchi, obviously he stands out as well. He's obviously the eunuch that is the rear palace manager that we get introduced to early in this episode. He catches your eye instantly because he's like not only the most handsome man in the world, but also probably the most beautiful female in the world, because Mao Mao at first thinks he's a gorgeous woman, and then realizes that he's a eunuch. And I love her little thoughts about that. It's like, it's a shame that he's so handsome yet he can't spread his seed anywhere because he's a eunuch. Yes. First world problems, like woe is me. So he's got this like too pretty to be real aura, which really, really grabs you the second you see him on screen. And the voice work that accompanies that, I think, really adds weight to him. Do these character designs, I think we've sort of unpacked it a little bit here, but we get a little bit of information for character designs. Like Mao Mao, like she's very plain in her look and her aesthetic and her outfit compared to everyone else's really polished beauty. So she's sort of got this outsider status, which I think she kind of relishes anyway. And then on the flip side of that, we see Jinshi. His design screams, hidden depths behind his pretty boy mask. Like he is dressed to the nines. Like I said, the best looking person on planet Earth just about. But I like we see sort of these contrasts with their look and their aesthetic.
Yeah, and Mama says as well, like she doesn't tell anyone that she's that she can write or read right early on. So she does. I can see that she likes to like keep things close to her chest as well. So like you said about her relishing the fact that she's like on the outside a little bit, allows her to step back and like observe a little bit more. So 100%.
Yeah, it's so good. Something else, like, how have you found her, like, as far as a main character, like, what's her appeal level? Like, do you find her compelling, or would you say she's maybe a little annoying? Like, are you all in on Mao Mao, or are you sort of like, maybe not?
No, I actually like Mama as a lead more so than a lot of like shonen style protagonists, I would say, such as, what's the name of the My Hero guy? Deku. I find Deku extremely annoying, and he's just, I'm gonna be like the best. I'm gonna be strong. Mama doesn't give a crap about that, right? She's just, I want to cure people. I love playing with poison, and I find that very endearing and just like fresh, right? It's not the typical sort of anime, and I don't think any of the animes that I've listed that I like are very typical, apart from Naruto. I think they're all quite a little bit quirky in their own sense, and I find Mama very refreshing for that.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, she's super compelling. Like, I like that she's sharp, she's sarcastic, she's independent, and yet she's still got just the right amount of sass sprinkled in with some of her interactions. So she's fantastic. And I think even though it's early days, like the chemistry between Mao Mao and Jinshi, like there's something there. Like we see Mao Mao mostly working alone in this first episode. But I do enjoy her really quick, subtle reactions to Jinshi that feels like there's promise there for a fun dynamic to come between the two. Yeah. Again, not
to spoil, but there are moments in the second episode when Jinshi does something and she's just like, ooh. So very, very, very interesting indeed.
Yeah, I love that she doesn't hide her emotions and what she's feeling. Like, she doesn't feel that she has to be perfect and prim and proper 24/7. Like, she's going to say what she's thinking and show what she's feeling. And I think that's one of my favorite qualities about Mao Mao. She's a good time.
Which again is, if you know anything about that olden style Chinese, it's all very like, if you're a woman, like you're quiet, you're prim and proper. Whereas Mao Mao doesn't give any qualms about speaking her mind.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that. Like, I love a strong, independent woman, and Mao Mao is definitely that in this first episode of the Apothecary Diaries. So let's shift into animation and style. We'll talk about sort of the visual and the directional choices. First, I wanted to get your feelings on that art style and sort of the animation as a whole. Like, how did you find it, Nigel?
So it is quite, and my wife brought this up as well when we were watching. It does look very similar to like when you see like Chinese animation. Actually, and again, like it's based on sort of like old Chinese style. It does look more like that, more than like a classical like anime, for example. Yeah, like Muscles and Magic or My Hero. So not what I'm used to. I didn't hate it though. I thought it was quite beautiful at times. And again, like when she's like picking for plants and stuff, like it is quite beautiful.
Yeah, I felt the same. Like, I feel the animation, it was super clean, and I thought it was really well done, really well done by OLM. One of my favorite studios, consistently sort of delivering high quality out there at the moment. We didn't really see any sort of flashy terms of movement. Like, it was all pretty slow paced, pretty cruisy, just a lot of people walking, a lot of scenic shots. But some of the still shots and sort of just the wide overarching sort of environmental shots were gorgeous.
Oh, like that overview of the palace. Like, that was good.
Yeah, it was really pretty. And then like regarding the use of sort of color, lighting and framing, like I like that it was mostly like muted sort of natural colors.
Muted. Yeah. Nothing flashy, not over the top.
Yeah, like we see, like when we shift into the palace, you know, big rich golds, and Mao Mao even sort of referencing the red pillars in the palace. So it does feel very authentic and accurate for the time period.
I think so.
And I do like as well, we're seeing the lighting changes ever so subtly in the court that sort of, I guess, hints at some of the hidden darkness. Like we've seen so many period piece dramas over the years, and so much colluding gets done in the shadows. There is like a couple of little moments to subtly reference with the lighting or lack thereof, where I'm like, what's going to happen out of there?
Even in the first episode, like again, you don't really understand that it's like there's a lot of intrigue happening in the first episode, but there are moments, especially when Jinchi's on the screen, like the corners of the screen get a little bit dulled or dark. Yeah.
Because he's just the most beautiful person on the planet, Nigel. We just gotta bow down and worship our new god Jinchi. Apparently, did you have a particular standout scene or moment like from this first episode? Is there one particular part that stands out from you, whether it be from a visual perspective or just a scene that you really loved?
You're putting me on the spot here. I genuinely thought that scene where he holds up the parchment to say, you can read this, obviously, you stay back, and she tries to sneak out after, and he's like, no, I know you can read, come here. I thought that was a very smart moment. Yeah, it
was super clever, and I loved her reaction because she's immediately thinking, I'm going to get punished or like murdered here because I've sort of gone outside the traditional court lines here, so to speak. What's going to happen of me? So I did enjoy that because it really put some immediate tension into the scene, because Jinchi, like, yes, even though he is this beautiful man, there's a few scenes in this episode where he's looking very serious and almost a little ruthless and like dark at times.
A bit cold, a bit
So you worry for Mao Mao in that moment, but I think my favorite scene is where we see her sort of whip up, like utilizing her pharmacy skills. She whips up this cure in secret. And the attention to detail in this scene where we're sort of seeing these really tiny hand movements as she's sort of putting various ingredients in to make this cure. I thought that was really good, but I also wanted to honorably mention the flashback, like we mentioned earlier in this episode, where we discover that she was kidnapped very, very swiftly, very abruptly. But the moment we see it play out in her head where she's out sort of running some errands, and then she sees a heap of herbs and gets so excited, and you see her features become cat-like from the glee and the enjoyment, the little cat ears and the little emotions on her face as she's prancing around this field picking up herbs just before she gets kidnapped. I also really loved.
Yeah, that was really good. And again, not to spoil, but where in the future, when she gets excited, the cat ears reappear again, and it just shows that glee and that sort of passion towards playing with apothecary stuff. That
so good. It's so good. I feel overall the direction of this first episode, I felt it enhanced the mood as opposed to undercut it. Like I really enjoyed the slow pacing. Like even though we're trying to find a hook within 20 odd minutes, I feel that we see this world feeling very methodical and calculated. It just really worked for me and really drew me in.
Again, like I thought the first part was a bit abrupt, but from the second part onward, there was a lot to sort of like, there weren't any wasted scenes, right? Like everything sort of built upon what was, and she gives a narration as well. Like, I've been here for a while now. This is in her internal monologue, like I'm in the rear palace, and she talks about all that. So no, overall, a pretty strong first episode.
Yeah. And to sort of wrap this piece of the episode up, I feel that this was definitely not done on a budget. It was definitely crunchy. Like you could see the love that they put in this first episode from OLM. Like the production quality was really high, the direction was really high, and it just checked all those boxes.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think you've definitely seen some of these animes where it's just like, I'm going to rush the first episode out to see whether the execs like it. I think from the start, they knew that this was going to be a thing. And again, the 25th high, I didn't realize it was rated that high up.
Yeah, it's well beloved out there. Yeah, 8.87. So let's sort of shift into the soundtrack and the voice acting, sort of gauging the atmosphere and the performance. I feel the first question, did you feel the opening or the ending hit? Like, would you classify either as bangers for you?
I actually didn't think much about the closing or the opening. I don't know whether it needs to grow on me, but genuinely, I was like, this doesn't do it for me personally. Yeah,
breaks my heart a little bit. like we're still Shanghainese brothers, so I can't sort of take it to heart completely. I certainly feel the ending track is the weaker of the two. Like the opening track,
Okay.
Hani ni Nate by Ryukyu Shoku Shakai is the artist. I'm not going to try and say that one 3 times fast, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Like I felt it was super catchy and atmospheric, and the build up before the main chorus hit was really perfect for me. And we get not only the mystery from the song, but we get some mystery with a lot of the visuals. And anytime we see an anime opening where we see the lead characters like singing the lyrics of the opening song to us in certain moments, that just makes me pop. So I don't think it was a banger in the party sense. Like I wouldn't be sort of probably blaring this in the clubs, but it's definitely got sort of a watch it twice vibe that hooked me from the get-go. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Okay, I mean, maybe I do need to go back and watch it one more time, but it didn't like. There are certain openings that like click with me straight away, and I'm quite picky about that because I love music. This wasn't one of them, but I will go back and have a listen, I think.
I've got to say too, like not spoiling, but like talking into the future, the Core 1 opener for season 2 of the Apothecary Diaries is one of my favorite anime openers of the last couple of years. It is a banger.
Okay, interesting. All right, we'll get there. Right? We'll get there.
Yeah, you've got a few more episodes to go first. I thought the use of background music, like it was subtle, but it was very effective. It knew when to sort of ratchet it up to enhance the tension, but it never really felt overwhelming or it felt like it took away from any of the scenes.
No, I agree, and I was gonna say like it was very well done. I didn't have any qualms about the background music at all. I thought it all worked. I thought like, again, like when it needed to be mysterious, there was a little bit of, but yeah, it all worked.
How did you find the voice performances and the voice acting? Like obviously the Apothecary Diaries, it's available in sub or dub depending on your flavor and your preference. There's no right or wrong way to consume anime. We're just going to get ahead of that now. You like what you like. We don't yuck any yums around here. You want to listen to an English or a Japanese track, you do you, boo. But how did you find it?
Do you know what? I've been starting to, and back in the day, I was just like, subs only subs. I watched this one dubbed.
There you go.
So, and I've been doing that with a couple of animes lately. So a majority of Matchly I watched dubbed. Shogugeki no Soma, I watched it half. I watched it both just to sort of like to experience, right? Because there's a lot of good English voice actors coming up lately. I watched the first episode of Apothecary Diaries dubbed, and I don't know who they are, but I thought the voice actress from Mama did impeccably. I was very impressed.
Yeah, I feel depending on which sort of flavor you're looking for, like I mentioned, you still get that sarcastic, unimpressed tone that Mao Mao was very quickly known for, whether you're looking for that J track or the English track. Like either way, it's a good time. I feel the Japanese voice acting work, like Awe Yuki handles Mao Mao. I feel her delivery probably lands slightly better to me, but rewatching it, I watched it in English today and I still love the vocal work. So it still worked. I felt all the sort of ancillary characters as well, like all the voice acting, both from English or the Japanese tracks was really well done. And there was no one, it felt like no one was mailing it in. Because, you know, sometimes you can get some of those English dubs and they're like, oh no, what are you going to do? And you're just like, man, you're just cashing a paycheck.
I thought that Mama and Jinchi were perfect. I thought the concubine whose son died, when she cried, she was hysterical. I thought that was actually really well done. So if you don't remember that, like watch that in the English dub. I was very impressed. I didn't think it was fake. I thought like it felt authentic. Yeah,
Lady Li Hua is the concubine that's child passes away. Her and Lady Gyakyo as well, sort of the pink, orangey, strawberry, blonde-haired women, like beautiful characters. And I thought the vocal work both in the English and the Japanese versions for them was really strong as well.
When Mama, again, like you said, Mama has this very monotone voice when she's sort of going in her head. But as soon as she sees poison or like herbs, the voice changes like completely and like it can be so animated. So I thought the range on the actress for the English dub was like really well done. Yeah,
was very impressive. So let's shift into a little quick segment here. We've got to sort of tie it into the brand name of this podcast. Obviously, it's More Than Hentai, so we're going to talk about that from a very respectful, holistic view. And I'm going to ask, like, was this anime, this first episode, like, I feel it was far more than hentai. Like, the show is smart. It's got a nice slow burn, and I feel it's sexy because the intrigue, not the bare skin.
Yeah, okay, that's a good way. I mean, there is some fan service if you need it. But that's not what this show is about, right? Like, there's enough hooks to sort of get you in. Again, like you said, it's super smart from just the first episode. I think once you watch the second episode, the world gets fleshed out even more so, and then you're like, okay, it's got your hooks, it's got its hooks in you, and then you're just sort of in it. But from the first episode again, I think there is a lot to like about Apothecary Diaries.
Oh yeah. So we're going to move into the second last piece of our sort of talking topics here for the Apothecary Diaries episode. We're going to sort of talk about first episode impact and watchability. So I guess we've sort of answered this question several times indirectly through this episode anyway, where did episode 1, when those credits rolled, it left you wanting more? I'm assuming because you've already watched episode 2.
So again, Brendan told me you only have to watch episode 1. You can watch the other ones, but we're not going to talk too much about them. I just hit next episode straight away, which sort of tells you, yeah, I think that you will, if you're in the right frame of mind, you're gonna stick with this for a bit.
And it's a good, easy binge. Like even rewatching episode 1 again today, I'm like, man, I want to just keep watching again and experience the story for the first time. Like the mystery is just getting started. I'm excited to see where Mau Mau's new life is going to take us. So that certainly grabbed me, and that hook was very real. Do you feel after this first episode, is there some improvements that are needed to sort of elevate this IP even more?
In terms of what?
Like maybe, like I guess the only improvement, like I was trying to think about it, not just from myself, but maybe from a fan's perspective. But I thought maybe some viewers might want something with a slightly faster pace. Not for me. I feel the slow burn was very intentional and rewarding, but I feel some people out there, especially like circling back to when you mentioned Shonen, you know, that is just all gas, no brakes most of the time.
Bang.
So maybe going to something like this, which is a little more cozy, some might say, it could be a little jarring for some because it is a little bit more of a calculated, slower walk instead of a run.
I think you sort of have to be in the correct sort of mindset or like frame of mind when you watch this one, right? I mean, Shokugeki no Soma also has that, like, you know, there's dramatic music, there's it's quite like, if you're looking for something fast paced that isn't just action, that could be more your speed. If you're looking to slow down a little bit, I think it really is a frame of mind thing. If I think your expectation is it's going to be bang, 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 then you'll be a little bit let down. But because I sort of went in not sort of expecting anything, that it was okay for me. So I was fine with it. Hell
yeah. That makes me feel very good. All right, Nigel, I'd like you to rate the first episode based on the following scale. So we've got 3 metrics here.
Okay.
Not tonight, senpai. Give it 3 episodes, or instant watch. What would you sort of grade or rate the Apothecary Diaries after watching 1/2 episodes?
Look, I think it's an instant watch, this one. I think, again, a lot about anime is commitment. So if you're not committed to 1,000 episodes, don't watch One Piece. But I think this is digestible enough, and it's sort of low commitment enough for you to start. But then once you've started, I think you will inadvertently want to commit more. So I think it's an easy watch straight away.
Hell yeah. All right. So instant watch on the grading scale there. All right. Let's move into the final verdict. I've got 2 more questions for you, man.
Okay.
Well, I've got 1 more question, sorry. And the first part leading into that is a statement. So anyone that has been listening or watching along that is still on the fence about the Apothecary Diaries, the most common compared anime on my anime list, as far as if you like that, you're going to love this or vice versa, are as follows. So Raven of the Inner Palace, Yona of the Dawn, Snow White with the red hair, and Dr. Stone are the 4 most commonly recommended. If you like those 4, you're going to really vibe with this, or inverse as well. So if you've watched any of those 4 and went, hell yeah, I loved Yona of the Dawn, which I actually do, by the way, I'd recommend checking out the Apothecary Diaries. But Nigel, I'd like to ask you this now question. So like the last cherry blossom petal falling, please give us your final thought on this anime. But before you do, please know that this segment is presented by our friends over at Ice-T Aesthetics, where anime meets streetwear. Use code Sakura Society 5 at checkout as you upgrade your anime streetwear wardrobe today and save yourself some dollars on said order by using that code Sakura Society 5. That is the number 5. So Nigel, give us your final thought on the Apothecary Diaries.
I think that this is definitely one of those that if you have access to it, whether it's whatever streaming services, just to give it a go. I think I did, and after we log off, I'm going to go watch some more. But it is smart, it's fun, it's gorgeous, and I think it's worth 20-something episodes, and you're going to have fun with it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, I loved the first season. Like, I gave it a 9 out of 10 on my anime list. Like, I've rated it very highly after that first 24 episode run. Like I said, we're partway through season 2 at the moment, and it was one of my 5th favorite anime of the previous winter season, which was began airing in. So it's maintained its consistent quality. It's maintained its intrigue and its coolness and its funness and its cheekiness, and also just the whole, like, will they, won't they ever become a thing? Like, is there a love interest here between Mao Mao and Jinchi? So anytime we can get some love sprinkled in with some mystery, I am all aboard that train. And yeah, the Apothecary Diaries is a ride you want to take from this station into many stations beyond. So Nigel, dude, thank you so much for stopping on by and riffing on the Apothecary Diaries with me.
This is heck of fun, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, before we wrap up, I figure I'll throw the floor over to you. I want to get the shout out, anything you've got coming up. I know you've just, I think, dropped the 26th episode of the Cozy Magic Club podcast. Fantastic. Came out earlier today, which I love. So I'm going to check that out after I'm done talking to you here. But yeah, anything you want to shout out, mention, where can people find you and all your fantastic content?
Yep. So you can find me, again, I host the Cozy Magic podcast along with my good friend Ruby, and you can find that on the Cozy Magic YouTube. We're also on Spotify as well. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I think it's all at Nigel Victus. I talk about a lot about F1, Magic and stuff on Twitter. My TikTok's mostly for Magic, and Instagram's just all the stuff I'm up to. And most recently, we are coming to Command Fest. So I'm coming to Sydney. I'm coming to Sydney. I know it's the same time as Smash, which is unfortunate, so I don't think we'll be able to meet. But if you're in Sydney, Australia, and you join some Magic, I'll be down. I can't remember the dates, but I think it's
around the 12th to the 13th of July, if it's the same weekend as Smash.
Oh, maybe it's not the same weekend as Smash then.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it's. I think it's 29 June. Yeah. So I'll be down. Woo-hoo.
Okay, that's exciting. But yeah, obviously all of Nigel's links can be found in the show notes. So click on through, chuck him a follow, chuck his podcast a subscription as well, because those podcasts, those ratings, those reviews, they mean the world to little content creators like ourselves. So it takes no time, it costs you no money. Just pay that good karma forward with a cheeky 5-star rating. Leave a comment on the videos and stuff if you see it out there in the wild, because it helps keep us in the algorithm. And it's just a damn good thing you can do.
Yeah, and like I've only been creating content for less than a year now. It means a lot to us just to say, listen today, that was great, or even just a like, a share, helps us out a lot.
Yeah, it is the very least you can do, because being a content creator as well, I know the amount of time and effort that goes into making this stuff behind the scenes. Like, it's not just we record this and then it's out there. Like, the amount of love and care that goes into getting that content into your ear holes and into your eyeballs is very large. So
man,
pay it
editing
forward.
is like the worst part of it, but someone's got to do it.
I feel it's a very loveless job. But if you wanted to support us monetarily, if you can do so, we've got a Patreon, patreon.com/Sakura Society. You can also head to sakurasociety.co/shop to get your hands on some of the best looking anime related merch in the lands. But listen to this podcast, listen to Cozy Magic Club, listen to the More Than Headlines podcast to get your weekly anime news fix. But yeah, a big thank you to our producers goes out to Oni, Duffo, and Matthew for helping keep those emotional and literal lights on in the studio here. But Nigel, thank you so much for stopping on by.
And this was so much fun. If you want to help me in next time, I'll come in next time again, man.
Oh yeah, I think we could sort of flip it, and you find an anime for us to watch, or recommend something for me to check out.
I gotta find something like super niche for that I think us Shanghainese boys will both like.
Oh yeah. All right, Segoy Squad, whether your anime be subbed, dubbed, or still yet to come, enjoy yourself, and much love to all the gorgeous waifus and husbandos out there. Goodbye.
Peace out.